"You need to leave immediately, sir." My heart just about dropped to the floor when the police chief hit me with those words right there on my own front porch. I'd just burned through a 12-hour drive from Chicago, bleary-eyed, desperate for a shower, eager to sleep in my own bed for once. And instead, well, I find a total stranger and her little girl living inside my cabin. My so-called HOA president, Christina, is standing on the porch with a stack of official-looking papers, telling the officer I'm harassing a family in need. I'm standing there clutching my house keys and my property deed, but somehow, I'm the one getting walked off my land like a criminal while two strangers settle into my life. Let me back up a sec so you can really feel this. The first thing that hit me as totally wrong, besides, the fact that I couldn't even get inside my own front door, was all these soggy cardboard boxes scattered across my yard like somebody had thrown the world's worst garage sale in a thunderstorm. These weren't just any boxes. These were my boxes, my hiking boots, my college textbooks, my grandmother's china tea set, just sitting there soaking up the morning dew. Every single thing I'd left behind for safekeeping, packed up and labeled and dumped outside like trash. And you ever have that moment where your brain just refuses to believe what your eyes are seeing? I'm standing there looking at my life, reduced to ruined cardboard and waterlogged memories, trying to make sense of how I could be the one being kicked out. On top of all that, someone had gotten creative with a desktop printer. There were big, bold, condemned, "Do not enter" signs pasted on every window and door. They looked just real enough to fool a stranger, but the paper felt cheap, the fonts were a little off, and the official county seal was blurry, like somebody had Googled how to fake a legal notice and followed step one. But before I can peel those fake notices off and figure out what the hell is happening, I hear voices inside. Calm, everyday voices, like this is just any other Saturday morning. A woman and a little girl talking about what they want for breakfast. And that's when Rachel, holding her daughter Lily's hand, steps out into the doorway and gives me this look, like I'm the one who doesn't belong. She's scared. She says, "You can't be here. Christina said you wouldn't be back until September, and that the place was condemned and unsafe." September. It's August 15th, and I've been making mortgage payments on this place for 5 years. That's when the real show started. Christina Scott comes marching up my driveway, high heels sinking into the mud, Police Chief Tom Morrison in tow. And Christina, God bless her, she puts on a performance for the ages. She's waving documents, talking about months of harassment and violations of a court order. Months? Lady, I was debugging code in a Chicago office for months. But the cop barely glances at my paperwork, my deed, my title, all of it, before turning his full attention to Christina's mountain of evidence. I actually started laughing at the absurdity of it, which, looking back, probably didn't help. So I do what any programmer would do. I pull out my phone and hit record, because who's going to believe this story without proof? Christina doubles down, says I'm intimidating witnesses, filming a private family, basically throwing every accusation she can think of. Chief Morrison, for his part, looks like he'd rather be anywhere else, but tells me my property's been condemned due to environmental violations. Never mind that my septic system was updated 2 years ago, inspected and certified by the county. According to this magical sheet of paper, my house is now a biohazard. Meanwhile, little Lily is clutching her mom, asking why the angry man is taking boxes away. That just about killed me. Christina's up there on the porch, patting Rachel on the back, dripping with sympathy, suggesting this is all a bureaucratic misunderstanding that could be sorted out through legal channels if I'm willing to be reasonable. Sure, because reasonable people get thrown out of their homes with fake court orders and have all their stuff ruined. As I'm loading my life into my truck, the neighbors are peeking from behind curtains, no doubt wondering what kind of monster I must be to get evicted in broad daylight. I drive away from my own house feeling like I've been mugged and billed for the privilege. Now here's where it gets weird. I check into a dingy motel and call the environmental court that supposedly condemned my place. And the clerk, she's polite but firm. "Sir, we never issued any order for your address." Turns out my violation letterhead was a forgery. The court's seen a rash of these lately, all from my county. Someone's using stolen county seals to fake court documents and target homeowners. That's when the gears start turning. I dive into public records, property databases, and what I find is a trail of fake violations, foreclosures, and quick sales, all leading back to one company, Scott Construction. Christina's company. She's been buying up properties around the lake, always the ones with prime access, always right after some unfortunate legal mix-up. Her new project, Lakeshore Condos, needs my land for marina access. Without it, her $15 million development collapses. This isn't her first rodeo. The same scam happened at 2 other lakes, always with Christina at the center. Manufactured problems, lawsuits, property owners forced to sell cheap. Then Scott Construction swoops in. And the cop, Chief Morrison? Turns out he owes big to local casinos. And Christina's been quietly paying off his debts under the table, disguised as consulting fees. I mean, you get the picture. It's organized, it's cold-blooded, and it's working. She's even roped in Rachel, my unwanted house guest. Rachel's the bookkeeper for Christina's charity fund, supposed to buy educational supplies for local schools. Except, according to the ledgers, the money never makes it that far. When I meet with Rachel at a roadside diner, her voice barely above a whisper, she finally confesses Christina's been threatening to frame her for embezzlement, take her kid, and run her out of town if she doesn't play along. And here's the twist that nearly knocked me out of my chair. Rachel hands me documents, handwritten notes, bank transfers, fake invoices, showing Christina's been running the same scam on single mothers in other communities, targeting anyone she could control through fear or financial leverage. She's got a notebook with a list of priority acquisitions. I'm on it, of course, with notes about my stubborn personality and need for special handling. Rachel's in there too, with instructions to relocate her and Lily out of state once my cabin is secured. So we go to the bank where Christina keeps her master files in a safety deposit box. With the help of a nervous bank manager who's terrified of losing his job, we find proof, original embezzlement records, property transfers, and, chillingly, a relocation plan for Rachel and Lily. Just as we're copying everything, Christina shows up, senses something's wrong, and immediately changes her timeline. Instead of the next morning, she calls Rachel to a family meeting in 2 hours. Within the hour, Rachel and Lily are missing. Her car is still at her place. There are signs of a struggle. That's when I realize this isn't about property anymore. Christina's desperate. She's crossed from financial crime to flat-out kidnapping. With the help of my friend Mike, a retired cop, and Jennifer, my lawyer, we follow Christina's trail to a Scott Construction warehouse at the edge of town. There we find Christina broadcasting live to thousands online, spinning a wild story about how she's the victim. I'm the stalker. The cops are corrupt. Rachel and Lily are sitting off to the side, looking more like hostages than guests. Christina, lost in her own performance, starts waving around documents on camera, some of them her own fake receipts and permits, some the actual bank statements that implicate her. The comments explode as viewers start to catch on. And just as she realizes she's lost control of her audience, and the police move in, she tries to grab Lily and bolt. But the community, the neighbors she's lied to for years, have formed a human chain outside. They block her escape, and the whole arrest is broadcast live to 30,000 people. Rachel stands up right there and tells the truth. Christina threatened to take my daughter if I didn't help her steal Adam's house. She stole the charity money. Here's the proof. The town goes from stunned to furious in about 10 seconds. Christina's trial was a spectacle. The amount of evidence, the community outrage, the sheer scale of the scheme. Over 50 families in 6 counties, more than $90,000 stolen from children's charities, dozens of homes taken by fraud. It all came out. She went down for 18 years, no parole for 10, lost all her assets, and her company was broken up and its funds restored to the families and schools she stole from. But here's the part you don't see coming. This whole nightmare didn't just end with Christina behind bars. It changed the town. The old HOA was dissolved, replaced by a transparent council. The school finally got new playground equipment and books. Rachel became a fraud investigator, helping other communities spot these kinds of schemes before they start. Jennifer and I set up a nonprofit to help other families defend their homes, and within a year, we'd helped 200 more people fight off similar scams. Every month, we hold a town hall, live-streamed for anyone to see. Lily, now a little older and a lot braver, gave me a drawing last spring. Uncle Adam taught us to be brave. It hangs next to our financial reports at the community center, right under the rainbow she colored in herself. You know what I mean? Sometimes the world feels rigged against regular folks. But when neighbors come together, when people refuse to be bullied by crooks in fancy suits, things can change for the better. Of course, Christina tried to mess with us even from prison, sending creepy letters and trying to file fraudulent liens on my property. But the new system caught it immediately, and she got slapped with even more charges. It was a good reminder, fighting corruption isn't a one-time thing. You have to keep showing up, keep demanding transparency, and keep supporting the people who stand up against it. So yeah, it was a long road from being tossed out of my own house to seeing justice done. But if you take away anything from this, let it be this: corruption dies in daylight. Bullies like Christina count on your silence, your fear, your belief that nothing can change. But a community that stands together? That's unstoppable. If you've ever tangled with an HOA, or dealt with a shady board, or just felt powerless against a broken system, drop your story in the comments. Let's talk about what's fair, what's right, and what a real community looks like. Because sometimes all it takes is one person refusing to back down and a few good neighbors to back him up. And that, my friends, is how you win.